Rumors of mass graves in a temple town don't just scare people. Ugh, they fracture trust. And once trust breaks, it's hard to put the pieces back.
This is Obrixen. I'm Daniel.
I'm Aria. If careful, evidence-based coverage matters to you, please like, subscribe, and tap the bell. It helps responsible stories travel.
Today, the Dharmasthala mass burial allegations in Karnataka, India. Activists and a complainant allege that bodies were buried on or around temple-linked lands and that some people had gone missing. The case triggered a special investigation team, an SIT, scrutiny of evidence, and ultimately, a dramatic turn.
We'll walk through what happened, who said what, who acted, and when, without turning grief or faith into spectacle. Tisk tisk at the rumor mill.
Method and ethics up front. We will use only publicly reported facts and timelines, attribute specifics to named outlets, avoid naming private individuals where not already public, distinguish clearly between allegation and verification.
When and where?
Timeline. What credible reporting says, with dates. Early August 2025, allegations of mass burials in and around Dharmasthala circulate widely on social media and in activist messaging. Authorities state that an SIT will examine claims and evidence. Public anxiety grows amid conflicting narratives. August 23, 2025. The New Indian Express reports that the SIT arrests the primary complainant and obtains 10 days police custody on suspicion of perjury and related offenses tied to alleged fabricated evidence, including a skull presented as proof. The report frames this as a probe into whether the complaint itself relied on false material. August 28, 2025. India Today reports that the SIT widens the probe, adding charges connected to forgery, false evidence, and perjury, while keeping the original allegations technically under investigation. The article notes that the alleged skull evidence is central to the case's turn. Subsequent coverage. NDTV describes the arrest of the complainant as a big twist, emphasizing the SIT's custody and the shift from mass burial claims to potential fabrication. Hindustan Times profiles the complainant and characterizes key assertions as fake claims, citing the SIT stance. Republic World provides a general overview, from allegations to SIT searches and questioning, but stresses the ongoing nature of the inquiry.
Whoa, so the story starts as mass graves, and then, the focus swings to, was the evidence itself fake? That's whiplash for a community.
It is, and it's precisely why investigators stress chain of custody. Producing a skull or bone demands verifiable provenance, where it was found, who handled it, how it was stored, and what forensic tests show. Break the chain and any courtroom will struggle to accept it.
Yikes. And in a place like Dharmasthala, pilgrims, rituals, layers of history, people's imaginations run fast. If authorities don't communicate clearly, rumor fills the silence.
Process. What an SIT does in principle. 1. Secure scenes named in complaints. Log GPS coordinates, photograph, map, and restrict access. 2. Forensic preliminaries. If human remains are suspected, call forensic anthropology odontology units. Document stratigraphy. Avoid contamination. 3. Evidence provenance. Record the exact chain from finder to lab. 4. Witness statements. Take sworn statements. Cross-check for internal consistency. Reconcile with call detail records and travel logs where lawful. 5. Public record checks. Missing person registries, mortuary registers, hospital death logs, burial, cremation records of local bodies. 6. Transparency touchpoints. Periodic briefings that say what is verified, what is pending, what is false, without feeding rumor.
Meh. And when any one of those steps is skipped, the entire narrative can tilt. People don't just want answers. They want the shape of how answers were found.
Stakeholders and their lives, ethically framed. Families who reported loved ones missing. Often poor or mobile laborers, records spotty, grief long. They deserve thorough searches and honest updates. Activists and the complainant, sometimes the only voices that force action, sometimes wrong, occasionally manipulated, at times courageous. Motive and method both matter. Temple trust in local administration, guardians of community confidence. They must welcome lawful scrutiny rather than appear defensive. Investigators and prosecutors, obliged to separate signal from noise. If fabrication occurred, prosecute it. If crimes occurred, prosecute them.
Aw, the family piece cuts deepest. A mother looking for a son who never came home. An aunt counting festivals since a nephew vanished. Whether the claim is true or not, that ache is real.
Legal posture, what reporting indicates after August 23. The complainant is arrested and remanded to police custody, per the New Indian Express, 2025-08-23. Charges considered or added include perjury, fabrication of evidence, and forgery tied to the skull exhibit. Per India Today, 2025-08-28. NDTV and Hindustan Times described the SIT's stance as treating key mass burial assertions as unsubstantiated or fake claims, pending full forensic and documentary checks. The SIT states that original allegations remain under examination, but the credibility of presented proof is in doubt.
Yeah, so two parallel tracks. 1. Did mass burials happen? 2. Did someone fake proof to say they did? Both can be false. Both can be true. One can be true without the other. Duh. That's why process matters.
Forensics 101, without getting graphic. When human remains are found, labs look for species identification, post-mortem interval estimates, trauma patterns, and taphonomy. Context distinguishes clandestine burial from lawful burial or secondary deposition, e.g., flood displacement. Documentation, site grid, depth, associated artifacts, matters as much as the bones.
Also, Karnataka's coastal adjacent geology, rivers, banks, soft soils, can move things. Oops. If you don't know landscape processes, you can misread a scene.
Missing persons context. In many Indian districts, missing person reports are underfiled or underfollowed. Migrant work, informal burials, and record gaps complicate statistics. Good practice requires reconciling police missing ledgers with morgue and hospital logs, Aadhaar or voter ID traces, and bank phone activity before drawing extraordinary conclusions.
Tisk tisk at lazy record keeping. People aren't miscellaneous. They're someone's person.
Risks of false mass grave claims. Community panic and reputational harm to institutions. Diversion of scarce forensic resources away from real cases. Desensitization, so that when mass violence actually occurs, initial alarms are ignored. Accordingly, if fabrication is proven, courts often add charges like perjury and criminal conspiracy.
Yeah, but the opposite risk is deadly too. Dismissing real disappearances because a previous case imploded. We have to hold both truths without letting either be an excuse.
What authorities can do to restore trust. Concrete steps. Publish a de-identified audit. Number of sites searched. Methods used, e.g. surface survey, test pits, results and lab cues. Invite independent observers, judicial magistrate or human rights commission, to randomize spot checks of search sites. Stand up a dedicated missing persons desk with multilingual staff for the region. Update families on a fixed cadence. If the skull was fabricated evidence, explain the chain of custody failure point publicly and prosecute accordingly.
Ooh, sunlight, but with paperwork. Whoa. Less press conference theater, more receipts.
What communities can do. Resist forwarding unverified images. They can constitute evidence contamination or defamation. Encourage witnesses to give sworn statements rather than social media threads. Support families with logistics, travel to stations, notarizing affidavits, small cash help for days lost to bureaucracy.
Aw, justice is bus fare, not just big words.
Summation. Verified frame as of late August 2025. Allegations. Claims of mass burials on or around Dharmasthala-linked lands, amplified in early August. SIT response. Searches and evidence checks, emphasis on legal handling. Turn in the case. On 2025-08-23, SIT arrests the complainant, the New Indian Express. On 2025-08-28, SIT adds forgery, false evidence/perjury angles to the probe, India Today. Media characterization. NDTV calls it a big twist. Hindustan Times discusses fake claims per SIT. Republic World outlines the arc from allegations to searches. Current status per reports. Original mass burial allegations still under investigation, but credibility of showcased proof is formally challenged by the SIT.
Yeah, whatever the final court papers say, people in Dharmasthala will remember August as the month rumor outran certainty. Phew, let's hope the finish line is truth, not just fatigue.
If this helped you separate allegation from evidence and panic from process, like subscribe and tap the bell.
And if you're close to a missing person story, please document, breathe, and find counsel. Don't let grief make you easy to use.
This is Obrixen. Take care of each other.